Do you know there's a sentence in English that uses the word that 4 times in a row? You obviously said that, but I said that you said was obvious.
Oh yeah, language can get very strange.
But that's actually a great way to introduce something deeper. In non-dual teachings, the word that is often used to refer to the ineffable, unsayable, and unnameable, as in consciousness is that, which is aware, but when we repeat it, like in that, something happens. It starts to feel like a loop, a recursive, pointing to something we can't quite grasp. When people talk about non-duality, they often use that to refer to ultimate reality. But the moment you say that, you create separation. It turns into something external, something that can be talked about rather than directly experienced. And that's where things get interesting, because if you keep repeating it, you start to realize there's no difference between what you're pointing to and the act of pointing itself, that collapses into immediacy. You're not just talking about awareness, you're in it. Which brings us to something important. How easy it is to bypass the actual experience by intellectualizing it. This is where spiritual bypass sneaks in. Spiritual bypass happens when people use these grand spiritual concepts to avoid engaging with their real human experience. Someone hears that suffering is just an illusion, and instead of dealing with their pain, they dismiss it as just the ego. Or they hear that everything is perfect, and instead of making meaningful changes in their lives, they stay stuck in unhealthy patterns. They might even use non-duality as a shield. Instead of facing their emotions or their responsibilities, they retreat into abstraction. It's an easy trap to fall into, because on one level, these teachings are true. But truth that isn't integrated can turn into an escape route. Instead of clinging to that as some distant concept, what if we loosen up? What if we let the repetition that remind us that this whole game of seeking is, in a way, a cosmic joke? That's why humor plays such a big role in spiritual traditions. In Zen, the master laughs instead of answering. In Sufi poetry, Rumi spins in circles, celebrating the absurdity of trying to name the nameless. Even in mystical Christianity, Meister Eckhart spoke of the God beyond God, an acknowledgement that whatever we think we understand is already too small.
So how do we navigate this? If that can't be grasped, and if trying too hard to grasp it leads to bypass, then what's the way forward?
The way forward is paradoxically simple. Instead of seeing realization as something you arrive at, you recognize it's already happening. Every moment is that. The mundane, the extraordinary, the painful, the joyful. It's all infused with the same awareness, which means there's nowhere to go, no final understanding to reach. Just a shift in perception that allows us to see that we were never separate in the first place. And in that recognition, life becomes something else entirely. Not a problem to solve, not a puzzle to figure out, but a dance, a rhythm, a play of that, appearing as everything.